So it's not just because you're from the Big D that we brought you in. You kind of spotted this story and how it links to crypto. Explain it to us.
Yeah, well, every time I see Texas in the headlines, my ears kind of perk up. But as your resident Texan, I'll say that. Look, this is really important because when you look at the Texas kind of power grid, you think, well, this is just a simple function of the heat. Everyone's going to turn their air conditioning on. But that power grid, which, by the way, only Texas uses, and some parts of Arkansas, but like really only Texas, also is the grid that a lot of Bitcoin miners use. And it's kind of been a function of this move towards doing mining off of cheaper energy sources.
Right.
So you see this around the world in parts of Siberia, for example, or Kazakhstan or China, where energy sources are incredibly cheap. The same thing applies to places like Austin, Texas, for example. But when everyone's going to go use air conditioning and mining at the same time, the power grid gets stretched. And
Right.
this is kind of something that we saw last year as well, where summer heat wave came, the power grid got stretched, and Bitcoin mining actually fell.
But the good news is in the winter, when no one's using AC in Texas, these miners help keep these energy producers profitable, right? They're a great customer.
Yeah.
But when the heat gets into triple digits and the grid is under threat, the miners just stop mining Bitcoin, right? And the hash rate drops.
Right, and this is also a part of kind of the politics here as well, because when you start to see the Texas regulator and a lot of politicians come out and say, well, we have to conserve energy, and you see that on the consumer front, on the business front as well. Even some people saying you shouldn't be working from home because it would kind of help bring down the energy costs as well. Bitcoin is going to be a part of that story. That being said, I think what's different this time around relative to 2022 is that those warnings and that encouragement of pulling the usage down in 2022, which ended up pulling mining down by about 18%. In 2023, you haven't had those warnings yet. That being said, it's still only the end of June. We could still see that. But I would say that's perhaps the big difference.